My father told me I couldn't head out on my vacation unless I brought along my bratty stepsister. So I slipped away at 6 a.m. without saying a peep and vanished for a whole month. Original post. I, 17 female, am finishing high school, and my buddies and I have already arranged a getaway to a lodge for the summer before we head off to university. I've been a nanny since age 13, so I've stashed away a pretty good chunk of cash. When I was 15, my father remarried roughly a year and a half after my mother died. My father's spouse brought along her 13-year-old girl, and right after we all started living under one roof, they began shoving her onto me and making us tag along for every single activity. I can't stand my stepsister. She's constantly having meltdowns whenever she doesn't get her demands met. She's pampered to the extreme that at my 16th birthday bash, she got her very own cake just so she wouldn't feel sidelined, and she even puffed out the candles on my cake too. When I protested, my father said it was time to mature, that being a sibling means sharing stuff. I shot back that I didn't have a sibling. I suppose she overheard and she flew into a fury. The whole celebration got wrecked. I pulled away even further from them after that. I'm compelled to either bring her with me wherever I go or hole up at home with her, if I can't include her, or my father or his spouse can't keep an eye on her, or simply refuse to handle her. Picture all that I described she pulls with my father and his wife, but aimed at a 15 to 17-year-old version of me. I had to drag her to the bowling alley with me, and she kept attempting to shove her hands into the spot where the balls roll out, and she tried dashing down the alley, so I had to haul her back home, and my evening got trashed. This kind of thing occurs frequently, but they couldn't care less. I've attempted to hide this getaway from her, but while I was in my bedroom on the phone chatting about it amid pizza and tunes, I discovered she had sneaked in and concealed herself in the wardrobe and was spying. She exploded out demanding if she could join, and I said no and to scram. She began pounding her feet and she bolted away. My pals pleaded with me to not include her. My father summoned me below and inquired if she could tag along, since she could benefit from a break, and I said I'm not bringing her. They can plan a break for her, but I'm not babysitting her for nearly 3 weeks solo. My father's spouse labeled me self-centered and that my father was covering part of the costs anyway, and if Lily doesn't join, then I don't get to either. I fired back that she has zero input in any of this. She's not my parent, and to quit dumping her kid on me when she molded what she turned into. Lily begins screeching at me about not acting like an older sibling, and I don't want to hang out with her. I lose it and say I don't. She fled sobbing, and my father declared he won't fund the remaining part of my getaway if I don't take her. So I warned him if he does that, I will cut off all contact with him, nor will I ever pardon him for it. He claimed I'm overreacting and she isn't terrible. So I snatched a suitcase and headed to my uncle's place, my mother's brother, and explained the mess to him, and he said he would cover whatever my father withheld. And when I start university, I can crash with him. I informed my father what I was up to, and he lost his temper at me and called me a spoiled kid, and they're my family now, not my uncle. As far as I know, she doesn't have any special needs. She's seen specialists and counselors. She's just ridiculously indulged, and that's how she's always manipulated things when faced with a refusal. The very first time I encountered her, everyone settled on Mexican food except her, and she was hollering in the vehicle for 10 minutes before she settled down by her mom giving in to her. Then she dives back into her phone messaging. If she does, then that clarifies why she behaves that way, and I can figure she can't control it, but I still shouldn't be obligated to supervise her around the clock. Relevant comments. Commenter: your uncle is behaving more like family than your father. I concur. Try to relocate to your uncle's now. Are you relying on your dad for university? Oop, I am not. My mom left me funds for 2 years. I chose to pursue an RN course and then return once I earn and save more. Commenter: if you're being honest about Lily's actions, it seems like she might have some kind of emotional or cognitive challenge. Has she gotten an official evaluation? Oop. No, she is just wildly pampered and behaves this way to manipulate outcomes. She realizes she just has to wail a little and kick about and they'll cave. To another commenter: she does not have any psychological issues, she's just indulged. She's been to specialists and counseling. To a deleted and downvoted comment: I don't have, nor did I desire, a sibling. It's not even like they attempted to ease us into bonding. They thrust her upon me. She perpetually has outbursts, so if anything tiny involves me, she must steal the spotlight. She may be young, but she is not my responsibility, and I shouldn't have had to step into a parenting role because of my father's spouse's poor upbringing skills. Commenter: How close are you to 18? I would gradually shift key items to your uncle's place, and then relocate on the exact day you turn 18. Ensure you notify your school not to reach out to your dad anymore, and that you are residing with your uncle. Oop. I turn 18 in September. I have reviewed the comments, and I am compiling lists of all I need to gather and store at my uncle's house. On being the mature one, I don't need to be the mature one. I'm exhausted from being overlooked and having her imposed on me. I'm heading on this getaway without her, and if that results in me cutting off my dad for good, fine by me. He's the grown-up and parent here. Update 1. I know plenty of folks wanted a follow-up to my previous post, but I can't share a link, so check my profile to read it. The getaway occurred, and I did not end up including her, just like I stated I wouldn't. From the moment I posted that until departure time, the home atmosphere was super strained and uncomfortable. I was not communicating with any of them. The sole person I could open up to and chat with was my uncle, and I'm so thankful for him. My father still believed I was going to include her on the getaway, and I kept repeating that I am not supervising her, and she is not joining me. The dawn of the trip, we departed at around 6 in the morning when he rang me. I was already about 5 hours distant, so he was powerless. When I returned, it was tons of shouting and tears from me and my father and his spouse. She claimed that I put them in a bind, and they had to skip out because they couldn't find anyone to mind Lily. My father and I had a deep conversation for hours, and he conceded that perhaps we need some space so we can mend our bond, which stung me because I would have preferred him to say I can remain in my own house while we do it. But I did end up moving to my uncle's place without any hassle. My father and I began family counseling with just us two. His spouse was quite annoyed. He was truly hearing me and grasping my viewpoint, right when we were progressing and strengthening our connection. I dropped by for supper, and he suggested if we could bring his spouse and Lily into counseling, and I said I had zero desire to build ties with them. She branded me a selfish jerk, and that I ought to be thankful that she permitted me to live with them after she arrived. I paused for my father to reprimand her, and he was basically mute, so I walked out, and I haven't spoken to him in nearly a month. He keeps proving he won't stand by me. So, to sum it up, the lodge getaway was incredibly enjoyable. I have never felt so liberated from a weight. The getaway was in June, and we stayed there for almost a month. We prolonged it. When I was preparing for classes, my father stopped by, and I guess his spouse phoned and he had to fib about his location because I suppose she didn't want him meeting me. So I told him, we don't need to keep in touch right now or resume counseling because it's obvious which side of his family he values more. I don't know what will become of my father, and at the moment I don't mind. I'm concentrating on classes and training to become a nurse. I don't want any toxicity to spoil this chapter, but I'd be dishonest if I said it doesn't ache that I lack a parent to share this with. But my uncle says he is my stand-in dad, and to share all my concerns and triumphs with him. I'm currently in my first week of university, and the level of liberty I sense here is also so fresh. I'm a bit swamped, but I am in an honors group. I also am in a fiction writing reading circle, and the pals I have formed are so wonderful. I am currently residing in the dorms, and I have never felt better emotionally. I am getting individual counseling to process my mom's passing, because that was never provided to me by my father. My uncle has truly become a father figure to me. Being 2 states distant from him is really tough, but I can't wait for weekend trips and festive visits. Also, another thing is that I'm gonna be a godparent. My uncle was informed at 22 that he would never father children, and he is currently 4 months along with his wife expecting. And I'm so thrilled because if anybody is going to be a great parent, I know it's going to be him. When he came to inform and celebrate with me, I think he noticed I was a tad anxious. I told him I am so thrilled and joyful for him, and nothing will alter that. But he's the only family I have at the moment and don't want to get abandoned like I did back home. And we sobbed, and he vowed me that he was stepping in for my mom, and he will be there for the rest of my days, whether I like it or not. I am organizing the baby celebration, and I can't wait for the little one to arrive. But yeah, that's it. Thanks all for following up on me and offering supportive messages. Relevant comments commenter. I just can't grasp how your father doesn't realize that Lily is a huge issue if they have to hire a sitter at her age or being 15. And they were trapped at home with her as a result. Oop. He refuses to acknowledge it, or he does and prioritizes keeping his spouse content. Commenter. Also, what do you compose in this writer's circle? Oop. Bring in pieces you've crafted and present them. Craft short tailies from the same cue. Craft verses, view clips or talks about crafting methods. Discuss crafting competitions or spots to send tailies. We're discussing weaving in spontaneous acting so we can spark ideas that way with our tailies. Commenter, downvoted. I feel like you should have established firmer limits instead of just quitting. You need to spell it out for him. Do you truly believe she's beneficial for your life if she's blocking you from your daughter? Are you truly a man and a father? If you're going to let a woman control what you can and can't do, I would tell him outright, you don't have the option of quitting because you created me, so I would value if you grow a spine and start behaving like it. Oop, that's reasonable, and I appreciate your view, but it's not my duty to repair anything or establish limits anymore. We did discuss it in counseling, and he still pushed to include them in the meetings. When I have voiced hundreds of times, I do not want that, so I'm finished attempting. I'm the kid in this scenario. Relevant comments. Comment 1. To not be able to head out anywhere because you have a 15-year-old who cannot be left solo for a few hours. That kid needs counseling and superior guardians. She will rely on her mother and stepdad forever. Reply 1. I'm eager to witness how long that union will endure now that OOP is no longer there to serve as their cushion. My view is that the father eventually voices something along the lines of how fed up he is with his stepdaughter to his spouse, or he actually reigns in the stepdaughter for once. The spouse says something like, "How dare you," or just yield to her wants. This recurs a few times until they split, or the father becomes forever tied to the woman. It's the timeless clash of divorced widowed dads versus enchanting attractions. Comment 2. Lily has to be nearly 16 by now. Why on earth do these guardians need to hire a sitter for her to begin with? Where are they heading? Why can't she manage herself if they're absent? Reply 2. My sitter was 15 and just turned 16. She was minding my wild 4- and 2-year-old. They adore her, but like that's how typical 15-year-olds operate. She's skilled with little ones, and I know not every 15-year-old is, but they definitely don't require a sitter. They're old enough to be sitters. Comment 3. This father is worthless and pitiful. Doesn't even leap to protect Op when that spouse insulted Op. He merits being isolated and wretched for the rest of his days. Reply 3. It's shocking that the new spouse implied she should be thankful for allowing her to stay, and the father utters nothing. That's a total betrayal of his daughter. But there's a sort of fairness in that the stepsister is gonna torment them massively when her demands crash into reality. Comment 4. It's beyond my grasp how you can just forsake your own kid for your new mate, especially when they are such unhinged jerks. Cheers to that fantastic uncle, though. Comment 5. Adore that some commenter believed this young lady should be charged with mending her dad. He knows what he is. Some folks can't be solo. It's like they don't know how to survive outside a romantic tie. Comment 6. While the circumstance stinks for Op, it's pleasant to see one of these where it doesn't morph into Op actually owning the residence. Reply 6. Yeah, the proportion of tailies in these where they inherited a residence at a young age versus the count I have known in actual life makes the tailies seem totally implausible. Thanks for viewing and staying till the close. If you relished these stories, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next drama-packed installment.